We all love a good story, and in particular, a good story that has a good ending. There's no loose ends that aren't tied up. All the characters get to live happily ever after. In short, when we reach these two words, the end, it is a satisfying and good ending. Well, sometimes I wonder about my own story, and maybe you about yours. Will your story have a good ending, a happily ever after? And as a pastor, I believe that's all tied up in how our story together ends, how the book of Revelation ends, how the whole Bible ends. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And this beautiful picture that Revelation 21 and 22 gives us of eternity. Verses like this one: He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. Revelation says, for God's people, in the end, God himself will wipe away every tear from our eyes, and there will be nothing ever again to make us cry, nothing to cause pain or mourning. Isn't that beautiful? And if you look deeper into these final two chapters of the Bible, you see vivid imagery and symbols of what this is going to be like. The people of God are described as a bride coming down from heaven, and also depicted as a city of sorts, a city that's beautiful with colors and precious gemstones, golden streets and pearly gates. But among all those descriptions, there's one that stands out to me. It may be the hardest to understand, but the most impactful. Look at this verse. The city was laid out like a square, as long as it was wide. He measured the city with a rod and found it to be 12,000 stadia in length, and as wide and high as it is long. What's going on here? The city is not only a square, but it's as high as it is long and wide. It's a cube? What kind of city is a cube? Well, again, Revelation is rich in symbols, and so we have to ask what that symbol may point to. Most scholars think this is pointing back to the Old Testament and a cube space in the Old Testament called the Holy of Holies, or the holiest place. This was the inner sanctum of the temple. This is where the Ark of the Covenant was kept and where God himself dwelt. You see, because of sin, there was this separation between God and humanity, and he dwelt in this cube space that only one person could go into one time a year, and that was the high priest. Now, in contrast to all of that, John is seeing in eternity, God doesn't dwell in some small room, but he is filling the entire creation again. His presence is there. He is dwelling there. Isn't that amazing? He is with the people. And you see that. You don't have to take my word for it. The Bible itself decodes that symbol for us right at the beginning of the chapter in verse 3. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. These chapters are pointing out in a variety of ways this amazing truth. God's glory is not filling one small room, but all of creation. And if you're in Christ, that's the ending of your story. That's the ending you have to look forward to. All of these symbols and all of these signs throughout the book, they're pointing to that simple and amazing outcome. God again with us, dwelling with us, no barrier, his glory present everywhere. And so my simple takeaway for you today is this: Jesus is the reason our story is a triumph and not a tragedy. When we reach those two words in our story, the end, it is a good ending for us. And it's not because of anything that we have done. It's not because we deserve it, but it's because of Jesus and the sacrifice he made to bring us together with God, to pay the penalty our sin deserved, and to reconcile us to this great God. And so one final key question for you, and that is this: how does knowing how the story ends affect the way you live right now in the middle of it? I don't know about you, but it helps me get through the difficult times. It gives me faith and it gives me strength to keep on going and living sacrificially for God. So think about these things and continue to pray about how God may use this story, the story of Revelation, to impact your life here and now, even as you look forward to this eternity with God. And that's a wrap of our series. I want to remind you now that all of the parts are available online at cascadefellowship.org/revelation. It's a lot to take in, I know, but all the sermons are there, all these videos are there, and I hope you'll continue thinking about them and maybe even sharing them with a friend. We're going to start a brand new series at church this week, so I want to invite you again to come to Cascade Fellowship at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. See you there.